Welcome to School Zone, the show all about your local school districts here in the White Mountains. I'm your host, John Larsen. Today we have Mr. Derek Whipple, our student council advisor from the high school, with us today. Derek, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you taking time to come and see us. We're going to kind of have a little bit of a different show today in that we're going to visit with Mr. Whipple for a little while, here several minutes, and talk about what he does as far as being the student council advisor and about the high school government. And then we're actually going to have some kids come on who are in the student council, and they'll give us some information about that too. So Derek, first of all, really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know something about you. Tell us about yourself and,
Okay.
and you know, where you went to school and all that.
Okay, so I'm actually born and raised here in Show Low. Grew up here, not just actually a couple blocks from here, a block from here. I graduated from Show Low High School in 2001, one of the best years that Show Low High School produced, in my opinion.
Right.
And from there, served a mission for my church, and then met my wife, moved to NAU, got my bachelor's degree in biology, and from there wanted to pursue more education, so moved to the Valley and worked on my master's degree, got my master's degree in education, and couldn't wait to get home. So as soon as the position opened up here in Show Low, moved back home, and I'm currently teaching biology, 5 sections of biology. And as soon as I moved up here, there was an opening for a student government leader, and I jumped at that opportunity knowing that I wanted to be involved. I wanted to help the kids, you know, be successful, and you know, being involved with dances and all the things that the kids are going to tell you about here in a few minutes. So yeah, got involved with that and have been doing it for, this is my 6th year doing it, and really enjoy doing it. So.
Great. Wow, it's been 6 years since you moved
6
back.
years, yep.
That's amazing. So when you went to school originally to get your degree, your undergrad in biology,
Mm-hmm.
was the thought process that you would move into education, or were you thinking another direction?
I was definitely not thinking education. In the back of my mind, I'd always, you know, admired teachers, always thought that that'd be a really fun career. But I wasn't really going to school for that. I was looking more into the medical field. And after pursuing some classes in, you know, the medical field and looking down that road, I knew it was not the direction I wanted to be heading. My passion was being more involved with, you know, younger students and helping them, and I just had that desire within me. So I quickly changed my degree and got back into education and went down that path. So.
That's great. That's great. And I'll say the medical field's loss is our gain. You know, I have the opportunity to visit with principals and be on sites and whatnot, and hear so many great things about you and what you do, not only in the classroom as far as good a teacher as you are, but also what you do for the community, the kids at school, and how involved you are. And for that, you know, there's not enough money in the world for you teachers who make such a difference in the lives of our children. So I really appreciate that.
You bet.
So Mr. Whipple, go ahead and tell us specifically what you do as far as being the advisor for the student council.
Okay. So you know, typically a normal day for us looks like where the students come in. I see them 1 class period a day, and we have an agenda that we go through. Our student body president, he gets the class all settled down, and then we put up on the board anything that we may need to discuss that day. For example, if we have, you know, homecoming week coming up, where we're planning, you know, the bonfire, the powder puff game, you know, concessions that may be coming up, anything like that, we take, you know, the start of the class period to run through, and then as soon as that meeting is over, we, you know, let the kids break off into groups, whether it's making posters for, you know, football game that's coming up, a volleyball game, soccer, whatever activities are going on that week. The kids will break off and work on that. Some kids may be responsible for, you know, counting up some of the cash boxes from chocolate sales that we have going. Fundraising is something we do all year long because we're constantly putting things back into the school, whether it's through class gifts or, you know, preparing for a dance, preparing for our Cougar Day, our end of year activity, where, you know, we have this huge celebration for all the kids that, you know, have accomplished whatever they need to academically and whatever throughout the school year. So we try and give back to the school as much as we can. So we keep the kids pretty busy throughout the day with activities that we have going on, and then during the class period, you know, we always have something for them to work on. And I'm really fortunate because I get to work with, you know, the cream of the crop, the best students that that are striving to be the best that they can and involve the student council, and so it's great. I just kind of let them run it, and then I oversee it, and if they have questions, concerns, they come to me, and I try and guide them with whatever they may need to be working on. But
how many children are we talking about in the class?
Around 24 right now.
Wow, there's a lot then.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I've had one class up into the 30s, 30, 32, somewhere in there. But depending on the school year and how many kids their schedules allow it to get into the class, we have around 24 to 28. So quite a few that we're working with.
So I'm assuming you have some sort of a hierarchy in this.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that lay out?
So we've got our student body president, a vice president, and of course a secretary, treasurer, and they all have responsibilities that they're over. We have what's called a spirit leader. He's kind of the person that goes around, gets everybody pumped up for assemblies and things like that. And then for each class, we have, senior class, they have a president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, all the way from senior class, juniors, sophomores, down to freshmen.
Okay, so all those kids are included in this class.
Yep, they're all in the class.
And I'm assuming those are voted on by their peers as far as the president, vice president?
Yeah, so every May at the end of the school year, we hold a vote where the students can cast their ballots for whoever they want in there based off of who's interested in running. And then that following year, those kids are put into that class, and that's who we get to work with. And they're always the best kids. We've got great kids in there.
Great. So your council, the entire group, the entire class, they all prep that for the next year.
They do,
even?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that the outgoing class, especially the seniors, they kind of take it upon themselves to run that election, and we get together and count those ballots and tally it all up and announce the winners. Usually it's on Cougar Day, that end of year celebration. We announce who the incoming class will be for the next year.
Great.
So.
I heard just a couple of things that came to my mind. I heard you use the word agenda, which means you're teaching these kids how to organize the information they've got to go over, and then to actually go through it in an organized manner, which is really cool. I mean, they'll use that in their business meetings when they move on.
They've got to have that structure. They need that.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people don't learn that. And so that's really cool. And then I'm amazed that you have them for roughly an hour, probably a little less than an hour.
About 50 minutes,
So you get all of that done inside of an hour, which teaches them that they've got information they've got to get through, right? And they've got a timeline to get it through. I just think that's great. And then obviously, that's a lot of work. They do a lot of things.
They do a lot. There's always something going on. It's time consuming, but we do well. I think we get a lot done.
Great. Well, let's take a break, and we'll bring the kids in, and we'll get some more information from them.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you. Welcome back to School Zone. Now on the show we have 3 of our student council members. To my direct left we have Hannah Lewis, and then we have Mary Layden, and then we have Beau Williams. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate you taking the time to come.
Thank you.
How was your day at school today?
Fantastic.
Did you have a good day? Fantastic? It went from just average to fantastic. See, we were talking about this before. We're on camera, we're lying. That's funny. Well, I'm glad that you're here. Can you tell me, well, first of all, let's start with Hannah. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I want you to tell me what your responsibilities or position, if you have a position on the school council, specific position. So tell me a little bit about yourself, each one of you. Start with Hannah.
All right, awesome. My name is Hannah Lewis. I'm, like you said, a senior, so I'm in the senior class, and I serve as the secretary. We all just do our best to kind of keep things running smoothly and make sure that we can make the student life as good as we can get it, just so everyone enjoys what they can of their high school experience.
Great. Now, Hannah, I know your family. So you're the oldest in your family.
I'm the oldest in
my
family.
And then, so do you have siblings, younger siblings throughout what? Do you have anybody younger than you in high school, junior high, and then elementary?
Yes, we've got, youngest one is in 1st grade right now. The other's in 4th, and then 7th, and then a freshman. So
nice. So
4
spread out.
underneath me, and they're all coming
Great.
up.
Great. So it's really cool that you kind of get to prepare the way for them.
Warming them up.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Tell me about yourself.
I am the junior class vice president, and our main responsibility as juniors is prom. And so basically we just are working on the dances right now and trying to make them as good as possible.
Great. So you're about halfway through the school year.
Yes.
So does it get a lot busier from here on out to the end of the school year, or are you just always crazy busy?
I think it gets a little bit busier for us right now, for Beau and I especially, because prom just lays right on the juniors. It's our responsibility. So, yeah, we're working on planning that right now, and that's kind of the big money bringer for student council.
Great,
So.
great. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but tell me about yourself. Have you lived here in Shoalo forever, or are you new, or?
I've lived here this is my 3rd year living here.
Great.
So I moved here freshman year.
Where'd you come from?
Joseph City.
Joseph City. So this was an upgrade for sure. Cool. Beau, tell us about yourself.
My name is Beau Williams. I'm junior class president. I moved up here when I was about 5. I have 3 other siblings. One's in high school, and then the other 2 are in an elementary school. So yeah.
Very cool. I just thought, so as juniors, are you guys automatically expected to be a part of this next year? Or if not, do you have plans of being part of the student council again next year?
Depends on how good we do, if Derek keeps us in or not. But
Okay.
I definitely plan on being in this next year.
Cool.
Yeah,
Mary?
me as well.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you telling me about yourself. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you guys do. I had the opportunity to go to a city council meeting, not this year, but last year. And I just happened to hit one that the student council was there that day shadowing the city council members. And so, do you guys call that City Government Day? Is that? Tell me about that. Whoever knows about that, tell me. Hannah, you're a senior. Did you participate in that this year?
I did participate in it this year.
Tell us about it.
It was an awesome experience. They let us know about it a little bit in advance so that we had the opportunity to choose of all the different city categories where we wanted to hang out for that day. So I chose the library and the environmental services, which I didn't know what it was until I got there.
Very
And then
cool.
we all got the opportunity to go into the different categories that we chose and spend the day learning about what they do. And I think it kind of opened our eyes to see how much city officials really do for us and for the well-being of everybody that lives here. And then that night we got the opportunity, the seniors got the opportunity to go to the city council meeting, and we got assigned to a representative that sat up there, and we got to kind of conduct the meeting with them behind our shoulder, letting us know what we should and shouldn't say. So it
Very
was
cool.
awesome.
Very cool. So was that seniors only, or were you guys involved in that?
We were also
Everyone was involved.
yes.
on
Everyone,
that.
really? That is great. So it didn't matter what grade level you were, you got to participate in this. And so was this on a weekday that you missed the whole day of school in order to come into the city offices and do that?
Yeah, we got excused.
Cool. What department did you work with?
So Beau and I were actually partners for it, and we came to Shoalo TV for one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Very cool. So you guys could run this place, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. That's great.
And then we went over to the library afterwards.
Very cool. Beau, you have any comments on that City Government Day?
It was a lot of fun. It was really interesting to see how it worked, how all these jobs worked, and it was just a great learning experience.
So could you see any parallels between what you do at school for the student body and what these folks at the city do for our whole community body?
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it stir any desire in you to maybe want to be involved in the community that way, as far as an elected official or position?
For me, it kind of did.
Did it?
After going through the library, working with some of the kids in there, I know a few other kids came in and we were helping out with them. It was a lot of fun, and it was just cool to work with other kids and help them out.
Good. How about you guys?
I don't know if it awakened any calling to be on the board or anything like that, but it definitely, like I said, just stirred an appreciation for how much everybody is doing and kind of an awareness of how we need to appreciate it and treat it, just because not a lot of people have that opportunity to have so many people working for their well-being and their comfort. So I don't think it stirred that, but I appreciated it a lot more, definitely. It was awesome.
Mary?
I think it definitely showed for sure Beau and I how much the community does, and not necessarily getting involved when I'm older, running for anything, but for now getting more involved in our town and in activities that we have going on for sure. And one of the things that we talked about was like connecting the like city government with our student council, like through social media or through, you know, meetings and stuff like that. So I think that was cool. We figured out we want to be more connected and getting everybody involved in fun activities.
Right, because some of the things that you guys are doing, they can help promote and let people know what you're doing, and that's only advantageous to you. So great. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but we also, as a school board, we have a yearly meeting with them. As a matter of fact, it'll be in January. And we get at that meeting to learn about the things that they're doing to help us be successful. And then we also get to find out a lot of things that we can do to help the city be successful. Because obviously if the city is successful, then our school district can be successful, right? And vice versa. So cool. Beau, I could see you being mayor, man. I mean, look at that tie and suit and good looks. I mean, if Bill Clinton can become president with his looks, you can become Sholo's mayor, I guarantee it.
Well, thank you.
Great, I appreciate you guys sharing that with us. So you talked a little bit about you guys prepping for prom and whatnot. So tell me about the school dances. What do you guys do to pull that off? How do you pull that off? That's got to be huge.
So we pick a theme to do, if it's homecoming or prom or more. We recently did winter formal. There wasn't a main theme for that, just winter formal. And so we had a lock-in that day, and so we went in and we decorated. The winter formal was held in the Cougar Den, and so we went in and we decorated for that, and then we just had a team bonding experience. But then we have to go through, we have to choose music, stuff like that, make sure we get lights in. But that's all for me. That's all.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of time to prepare for that, because I know that like it's probably like the second or third week that we start, homecoming, you know, you start with Spirit Week, dressing up for each day, how much tickets are going to cost, where you're going to have it, decorations, lights, DJ, everything. So it's a lot of planning that goes into it. We have our daily meetings were dedicated to homecoming for a long time, and then to winter formal for a long time.
Well, those are highlights of your high school experience, right? Especially homecoming and prom are the two big ones.
Yeah.
But, you know, the other MORP or winter formal and all that kind of stuff, those are all highlights. So that's a huge thing to make sure that those come off as planned. So that's awesome. Tell me about homecoming week. What is homecoming week? Is it crazy? Is it?
It's very
It's chaotic.
crazy.
Is it? I can only imagine.
It's awesome. There's, like you said, there's lots of different highlights that people, I think, look back on their high school career and remember. And homecoming week is one of them. And it's kind of like in The Wizard of Oz when they pull the curtain and there's the crazy guy behind doing all the stuff to keep everything going. That's kind of what student council is like. Like everybody's participating and walking and finding the wizard, but we're behind the scenes
So is
making
Mr.
sure
Whipple
it goes
the wizard?
smoothly.
Is that what we're saying? Is he the crazy guy behind
Yeah,
the
I
screen?
think he's more of the crazy guy behind the screen.
We're just his minions.
great.
We just
Yeah.
do what he tells us.
That's great. Well, you know, I'm gonna ask you really quickly, just because we broke in here with Mr. Whipple. Tell me about Mr. Whipple. Tell me what he does for you guys.
He's the best.
So much
He
fun.
is.
Yeah.
I know in meetings he's a lot of fun, but when it gets down to overtime, he definitely gets on us and make sure that we know what we're doing.
Cool. Do you feel the effort and the sacrifice that he puts into it to help you guys be
It
successful?
takes so much time to do what he does.
Yeah.
It's
Because-
crazy, yeah.
Yeah, you hear like teachers talking about like how stressed out they are and like how much they do for the school, and then you turn around and you see Mr. Whipple. And so for one of our fundraisers, we sell chocolates, and Mr. Whipple doesn't just like, oh, here's your fundraiser. Like he's sitting there, he's selling chocolates with us, and he's selling tickets for the dances, and he's definitely very involved and very like, he's a big part of
And
it.
he keeps his head on straight.
Yes.
Well, he doesn't, like, if I was put, I know if
He
any of
doesn't
us were
blow
put in
up on
charge
us.
of that, we'd probably lose our minds, but he does a good job about keeping everything.
So has he been a good example to you?
Oh,
For sure.
absolutely.
Has he? Cool. And I hope, just take a minute here, I hope you guys take the opportunity to express gratitude to him for what he does. And not only him, but all the teachers, you know, they all have the things that they do. You know, he's not the
Yeah.
only one that
Yeah.
that is an advisor to something at the high school or junior high or somewhere. So that's great. I appreciate you sharing that with me. So fundraising, you talked about the chocolate fundraiser. Tell me about your fundraisers.
So we recently did a toy drive. That was mildly successful. I know that we could have put a little bit more effort in trying to get it out there more, but now we're selling chocolates. So that'll go towards our big set of money that we use for Cougar Day and other dances, setting up for that. So yeah.
So are these fundraisers, are they just for the school kids? Are you just doing it at school, or are you out in the community?
I think
fundraiser?
probably the most common fundraiser that people would be aware of is concessions at football games or concessions at basketball games, just because that's when the whole city's kind of coming together to support whatever we've got going on. And student council kids are behind the counter selling whatever it is they need. So I think
Okay.
that's probably one.
So
that
that's
people would
good
be
to
more aware
know
of.
that the concessions at the sporting events or whatever event that may be going on, those concessions, those dollars go back into student council
Absolutely.
directly into the school.
Absolutely.
Cool. So I'm still interested, like in the chocolate. How you doing the chocolate fundraiser?
It's world's finest chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $1 for one of their chocolate bars. So we get all these boxes that come in, and basically we just walk around the school, and throughout the day kids want chocolate, so it's pretty
Okay.
easy to sell
They're
chocolate
kind
to
of
a
like
bunch
little
of kids.
suitcases.
Yeah.
They,
Alright.
the strap comes up and you carry
Alright.
it around and
Okay.
they sell themselves.
But it's not
cool.
like just for the school. Like I know a
Right.
lot of kids, like Rebecca Hall. She definitely takes hers everywhere, and she's sold boxes and boxes and boxes.
She's
so.
a trooper.
Cool. Yeah, because I haven't seen it, and I'm a chocolate guy, so I'm just
New
Should've brought our
I'm
boxes.
fixated on the. Yeah, you
I'm
should
a
have
little
brought.
behind on
You
that,
should
but
have. See, dang it. Well, we'll catch up with you. So you have other things going on besides that. You have spirit conventions. Can you tell me about spirit conventions? I've never heard of that. So tell me what that's about.
So we recently went to a spirit convention. It was up in Flagstaff. So we brought some of the student council members with us, and a bunch of other student councils were there as well. We come in, they pump us up with some music. They have a speaker there. And yeah, it's just there to have a good time, learn a few things, and then apply it back into our schools.
Okay, so you go to these conventions to kind of pump you up, get you going, to go back to school. They teach you a few things there that you can then implement when you come back in your own council.
Yeah.
It's basically kind of just like to get us to remember to practice what we preach, because we're trying to walk around our student body and make sure everybody's pumped up and involved and all that. So the conventions are kind of just a gentle reminder, like, hey, it's great that you're doing it, but remember you've got to participate too. So we have a fun time trying to just learn how to better ourselves in that category.
Yeah, another thing, last year, the one that I went to, there were student council members, so there were hundreds of kids there. And we got to meet a lot of kids from other schools that were their student council. And so it was really nice to talk to them and see their ideas, because you can take ideas and apply them to your school, and it was kind of bouncing off of each other and benefiting everybody.
Great, great. So what's a state convention?
You guys got to take this one. I've never been to one.
I haven't either.
Haven't been to a
I
state
know what it
convention?
is. It's basically those little conventions on steroids.
Okay.
So there's a ton of people there. It's overnight, and
It's
you go. It's like 3 days, right?
3
2 or
days,
3 days.
2 nights, I think. Yeah.
Mhm. But when you get invited to go, it's like an honor to go, because it's the big.
Is it
big
by
category.
invitation?
Yeah, it's not the whole class. I think it's
Okay.
10 or 11 people.
Yeah.
Getting me pumped up just talking about it.
Yeah. It's,
Okay. So is it usually held in one place? They move it around the state, different
It's
places?
somewhere in the valley.
It's normally in Phoenix. It's kind of in different areas in Phoenix, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it's held primarily in Phoenix.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So have you got any information on the state convention coming up? Has that hit you guys yet?
Yes. I
Do you-
mean,
It's in January,
It's in
right? So
January.
it's coming up
So it's
soon.
next month?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
and Mr. Whipple's working on his state list who gets selected to go. So
Okay, he makes that decision on,
Yeah.
on which students
He
are invited to
and
go?
Connor.
the student body
Anderson, our
president,
student body
and
president.
they kind
Okay.
of get together and
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay, great. So what have I missed? Have I missed anything that you guys want to tell us about?
Nothing
What's
is
your
hard.
tell me about when you go into class. Tell me what happens when you walk in every day.
We sit down, we get all settled, and then Connor, our student body president, will conduct a meeting, go through the agenda, and just talk about what we need to do, what we need to focus on, what's coming up. So right now, after we're done, we just finished up with winter formal, so now it is, we also just finished up with some fundraisers too. Now it's just focusing on things to get for state, get that all ready, and then started planning for prom along with MORP. So we also do a lot of assembly planning when it comes time in there as well. So our spirit leader conducts those when we get into that time.
Great, great. Well, I want to tell you guys how grateful I am that you came today. This has really been fun for me.
Thank you for
And
having us.
it's,
Thank you.
you know, usually I get to talk to administrators, you know, principals and teachers and stuff like that. So to have you guys come is really great because for me, that's what school's all about, is you guys. And it's exciting for me to see that you guys are taking the lead. You're taking some leadership positions there at school, and you're trying to make the high school experience not only fun for yourselves, but fun for everybody and fulfilling for everybody. And my hope for you is that you will take the opportunity to be a part of your community throughout your life. And it doesn't mean that you have to be an elected official or anything like that. There are a lot of things that you can do in your community to make a difference. And it's exciting for me to have you guys here, and I really appreciate it. So thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on School Zone, and we'll see you again soon.